Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renae Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcasts, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of a band that is being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this October 2024. If this is your very first time listening to this podcast, well, we talk about one band and one band only on this podcast, and that is the Dave Matthews Band. So every episode I bring on a fan or fans on the show to talk about their journey with this music. And so today I have fans. I'm excited to say that because it doesn't happen often. And even more so, like I have a mother and a daughter, Carol and Shae. Thank you so much for being willing to be on the show and to share your journey with everyone that's going to listen to this. Can you guys just tell me, I just said your name, so tell me who you are and where in the world do you live?
So I am Carol and
I'm Shae.
And we live a little bit north of Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. I mean, you guys got a really great concert. 2022 when they opened up what's the name of the new thing there? The Moody. Yeah, it was so nice, and it had just opened when we got to do it with the Dave Matthews Band. And I liked everything that was like Matthew McConaughey vibes, because I guess he has such a vibe at the University of Texas. Is he still like a professor there? Is that still a thing?
I don't know if he still is.
I heard, and the first thing I thought of is I can't imagine. I'm sure there's so many people that just sign up to take the class that have no business taking that class, but they're just I just want to sit in a class and let him talk to me all day long, right? It would be cool, and also he's really smart. He has a great perspective on life. He's interesting in general, right? So I'm sure everything that he gets up in front of people and talks about is it would be super, super cool. So I love that part of Texas. Keep Austin funky, the vibes down there. But you guys are growing. I always say Texas is the next California. Do you feel that way?
I hope not. No. It is out of control. But yeah, there's so many. It's growing so quickly.
Yeah, it's so much because who is it? Tesla that moved down there, and so many other big companies, and so they're gobbling up. But God, it's so much hotter in South Texas. It's so hot, but I mean, people like that too. Well, guys, thank you so much for being willing to share your journey. Obviously, we know that just from you being on the show that you love the Dave Matthews Band. That's without a question. So we're going to jump into your history here in just a little bit. But outside of the music, what does your life look like? What else besides the Dave Matthews Band do you like to do? And what does your family look like? And all of those things.
So I've been married for 18 years. And so
awesome.
Our oldest is in his mid-20s. And so he lives in Virginia.
Awesome.
And then Shae, she's 19, and then my youngest is 13.
Awesome.
I'm a photographer, so I do. Wow.
Dude, what kind of stuff do you photograph?
Personal branding and headshots, and then I like some artsy macro stuff.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that. I've always thought that photography was such a beautiful art and such a great way to express so many different things. And so, I love looking at different people's photography because everyone has that slightly different way they see it, right? And so, I love photography. So, well, guys, I know that Carol, your story comes probably before Shae's, right? Because you've just had more time on this earth than you have, Shae. And so, Carol, think back to the very beginning, whenever it was. I don't know your story. When did you first hear of the Dave Matthews Band?
So I heard maybe in like 94 or 95. And honestly, I like had a visceral response. I did not like Dave Matthews Band at first
Yeah, yeah.
at all.
Like the
And
tone, like everything, like the tone, like because in the 90s his voice was different, right? Like it just was.
yeah, and I don't even know that it was him that I or like the band that I didn't like, but I didn't like I love Pearl Jam so much and like
Oh
all
yeah.
that stuff. And so I
Right.
just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
Sure, sure. No,
And
yeah.
then it was a couple years later, I heard Two Step. Like I was playing pool with my friends and I didn't know it was Dave Matthews. I heard Two Step and I was like, what is this song? And I just like fell in love from then and
Yeah.
like consumed all the music that I could.
Yeah.
And
How do
yeah,
you do that? I mean, back in 94 or I mean, obviously technology was so very different in the 90s for us to find music, especially like I wasn't part of the fanship at that time, but through this podcast I've got to hear so many interesting stories of like tape trading and how people got those live shows that were taped and even be, just going from CD to what we have now. I mean, this band has seen so many changes in technology, but like how did you get your hands on the music in the 90s?
like I was trying to remember how. Like I remember like having CDs. I grew up in Chicago, so we had Tower Records. Like I remember going and getting CDs and then putting them on my iPod like later on.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
um, that's what I was trying to remember. Like how did I? I'm not even quite sure like how I acquired it. But I
I
don't
don't, yeah.
remember like having a ton of friends that ever really listened to him. So I
Yeah.
was like obsessed quietly, like
You don't want to tell anyone like,
right?
I love them, but I won't tell
Like
you.
liked them, but not like loved them like I did.
Right. Right. So Two Step was like your gateway song. And I mean, what a way to get in. And honestly, like it is one of those songs that is the hook for so many people. Just like
Yes,
everything about it is good.
yeah.
And I mean, does it still feel that way? This like when you hear it now, do you still have like that rush? Like, oh, like this is it. This is everything. Yeah.
Especially because they made it so much longer now, and then they like because I heard it in West Palm Beach last year, and oh, it was so good, and it just like the energy and like it was just so great. And
Right.
I'm waiting for them to play it. They haven't played it very much this year,
I
so
know, I know. And it's like you hear all those different rumors of like why they don't play it. And I mean, they're all rumors, right? Like no one gets to sit down with the band and say, hey, can you tell us why this? I mean, I wouldn't even, but
or
so
make it
like,
harder. I'm like, oh no, I don't want
I
to make
know, I know, but I just,
it
you
harder.
know, yeah, yeah. I mean, we are closer to the end than we are to the beginning, but we'll talk about that later. So it's like a downer right in the beginning, and I don't want to do that, right? I don't want to talk about that right now. But so Two Step hooked you, and then you started getting finding all of the music you could. How long was it before you were like, I think I should just go see them live? Like, did they come near you? Like, talk to me about how it was that you went to see them the very first time live.
So I went. So growing up, like my family didn't do concerts, so I didn't even really know how to like acquire tickets. And
Yeah.
again, like I didn't have people around me that were super into them. So my first concert was Texas Stadium in 2001 when they had the
Awesome.
Lovely Ladies, and it was the first time I heard JTR,
Oh,
and
yeah.
oh, it was so good. It was so
Yes.
good. But then I didn't go to another one until 20. No, I only went to a couple of them and then didn't go again until 2023. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
took a big gap, like a big break.
So do you remember like going to that first show and like did something unlock in your brain that you were like, "Oh, wait a second. This is like more than what I even thought it was," right? Like did it kind of explode on you?
It did, but I was like at that point, I did love them so much,
Right.
and so I don't remember that. Like that didn't happen again until like what you're talking about didn't happen until the my 2023 show.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know
So
exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, let's dig into it if you'll allow me to. I mean, this is your story. So if at any time I ask something that like makes you feel uncomfortable, or if you don't want to, that's cool. Just, but I'm going to ask you like what changed in your life? And I mean, a lot of us took breaks in our music just because life gets busy. We have kids, we get married, like things get busy, and the noise is coming from three babies screaming and not the Dave Matthews Band, right? So a lot of people have a lot of different reasons, but like, do you remember why it is that you kind of fell out of it and it was kind of just not on your radar for a while?
I think that just like life happened. Like I remember like listening up until like the Big Whiskey and Grugrex King album, and then we moved a lot because we're military, so we moved
Oh,
a lot.
yeah.
There's deployments. Yes, there was so much movement, and then, but I must have listened.
Yeah. So when she says that she wasn't, that she stopped listening to them, she is a liar. I love listening to Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
And even when I didn't listen to Dave Matthews of like my own consent, I guess,
Right.
she was constantly playing them. So enough that I knew a lot of the songs, and enough that they ended up on our family playlists.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
Like
So
I listening all together.
she just wasn't like,
yes,
right.
a consumer of it.
Right. It was something that was trickled through the car radio or whatever. And so, of course, you pick up on it because that's what your mom's listening to. And do you remember, Shay, like thinking back, like, was it annoying or did you just kind of like get into it because mom was into it? Like, do you remember what your first thoughts were?
oh, I thought that it was awful. I hated when she played it, and for a very long time throughout my childhood, I got more out of disliking Dave Matthews because I got a reaction out of my mom than I did out of actually listening to them, because I just thought it was funny. And she did.
Yes, of course.
So it was like it was a spite kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when she turned, it was like,
yeah, that was like a big deal because my entire childhood I've been like, I hate them.
So she turned. You just said that. So like, what happened? Like, why the switch? Did it just? What did it do?
buckle up.
Now it's
Uh-oh. Here we go. Shay, take the wheel.
This needs to be like prefaced a little bit because it's like there's a lot of history.
Of course.
Because a lot of like life was lifing.
It was lifing.
Life was lifing.
Excuse me, please edit that out. I'm so sorry.
Hey, life is lifing, right? It's all about hey, burping, farting, pooping, peeing. Like it's all normal. Let's talk about it. Let's make it normal, okay?
It's like too normal to me, and I forget.
It's just so normal. But I'm a nurse. I could be like the worst person you could ask. So life is lifing you.
Yes. So when I was around 15, I developed a really severe eating disorder. And so I was severely anorexic and in and out of hospitals. I was in the hospital for my 16th birthday. I was in the psych ward for my 17th birthday. And I was in Florida for my 18th birthday. And so I was in and out of treatment just constantly because I couldn't keep myself safe, I guess. Not
yes.
Safe.
Just kept relapsing.
Yeah, I kept relapsing. Like every time I would go to treatment, therapy, I'd either relapse with self-harm or with the eating disorder.
Yeah.
And so it was just a constant. And at this point, when I got into Dave Matthews, I was 17, about to be 18. And I had already been in Utah for treatment, Wisconsin, multiple times in Florida, or in Texas. Like, I had been all over. More centers that I can count. I've met more nurses than I can count, more therapists, dietitians, than anybody's ever going to meet in most of their lifetimes.
Yeah.
And so this was my, like, the relapse again. and my entire family had to move to Florida. And this was like, I had just graduated high school. I was supposed to go to college. I wasn't going to college because I was in Florida instead of Texas. And I was with my dad. We were living in, do you know what Ronald McDonald House is?
I do know what it is, yes. But for those of you that are listening that don't know, do you mind to explain?
Yeah, so
I love Ronald McDonald
we
House.
love that. Ronald McDonald House is basically a house for people that need housing assistance while they're receiving medical treatment. And so I was in and out of Ronald McDonald houses. I was probably living more in an RMH house than I was in my own home.
Wow,
Mhm.
yeah.
Like throughout the past 3 years, mostly I was maybe at home for six of the months out of the 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, enough of that.
That.
Boo-hoo. Sorry, no, I'm just kidding. Ignore me. Anyway, I was with my dad in the Ronald McDonald House, and my mom and brother came up for the month of July because that's when my birthday is, and so it was the month of my 18th birthday. They came up, and that's when I started listening to them. But now we have to go back to you because this is where
we're like intertwined.
I love this. I love it. It's a spider web it's a beautiful spider web. Yeah.
So in 2023, the Dallas show, one of my besties, Amy, she had bought me a ticket to the show in Dallas. And it had been so long since I listened to them. So I'm like listening, and I don't know half the songs because the new album had just come out.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They were like singing those songs, which I didn't know. And there were other ones, I mean, I did kind of know.
Yeah.
And then they I bet I knew some of them, but then they played for one of the encore songs. It was You Never Know. And I forgot. I was like, it took my breath away. I was like, oh, how did I forget how much I loved this song? Like, I loved that song so much. And it just made me so sad that, like, I forgot that big chunk of me.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
yeah.
And so, and then my friend Amy was telling me that they had Dave Matthews Facebook pages, like the couch tour. And I had no idea. So I'm like, goodness, like, where was this way back in the day? I needed that community. And so, but I feel like everyone like on the couch tour, they need that community too. And so they're like, everyone is so active and generally positive, and they're really like, I feel like we like not work each other up, but we just like, yeah, I mean, it's just like,
in a good way. Yeah.
And so then I was like, at that time, she was relapsing. We didn't know at that point she was going to be in Florida. We didn't know where she was going to be.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I don't know what. It just like, I needed something to distract me and something positive and something like, and so like, and kind of to remind me who I used to be. I didn't realize that I needed that.
Yeah.
And so I got on all of the pages, and I was like, I need to know, like, I don't know, like, what have I missed?
Yeah.
And so she was telling me the songs to listen to. And then we found out she was going to go to Florida. I knew there was going to be a concert there, and I knew we were going to be down there for July. And so I'm like, okay, I'm buying tickets. And then I started binge listening, like I was cramming for a test.
Yes, you were.
It was
out of control. No, yes.
Like, it should not have been going through the side hustle.
No. It was out of control, but I needed that so desperately. Like, I needed something like positive.
This music therapy. It is a real thing. Yeah. And it was for you.
Yes. And then it's just like every song I kept hearing, it was like dusting off little pieces in my brain. It was like dusting off the old Carol. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I forget this? And so then like I made a little playlist of the songs that I didn't know. So like Drunken Soldier, because I kept hearing everyone loved that, and people were saying Samurai Cop and Virginia in the Rain. I can't remember what else, but we listened to those.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Pause.
Okay. No, I just want to mention something that you said yesterday about how like so much of your identity had been being a mom and then being a caretaker of a sick kid with an eating disorder. That like there was no room for your happiness. The entire identity was what you could do for other people.
Yes,
yes, mama.
Yeah,
for yourself.
look at you.
Yes. I'm glad you identified that in your mom because that's so important. Because, like, it's easy to lose yourself. It's real easy to lose yourself because you just get busy and we get so concerned and we're so in love with our children that, like, we don't
Yes.
even know. We don't even know that we're missing anymore because that's who we are now. And
Right?
we have always been the same person. We just added to that, right? But somehow we almost take away from that. And so I'm so glad that you see that in your mom. And I'm glad that you know that now.
Yes, it like took my breath away that like how much I had forgotten, or like I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was so nice, and so I made this little playlist. We went to Florida, and she and I are early birds, and so every morning.
My turn to talk.
Oh,
You're fine. So made this playlist, as she said. Every morning we would go to the beach. We would watch the sunrise and
fill our souls up.
Yes, but right at this time was when all of the baby turtles were hatching, and so we would go out. We would see all the baby turtles, their mama's tracks. We would watch them go into the river or the ocean, sometimes getting eaten by birds, which sucked. But
That does suck.
Anyway, the reason why I'm talking is because on the way we would listen to like two songs. It was either Samurai Cop or it was Drunken Soldier. Those two songs I solely associate with the road leading to the beach.
Yes.
Because that's when I started to be like, oh, I guess they don't suck.
What was it about those songs? Like, do you know what it was
I think
that opened your ears?
They're one of the songs, The Drunken Soldier, it's like, make the most of what you've got. Don't waste time trying to be something that you're not. Or
Oof.
something you're not, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was in active eating disorder treatment. I was actively relapsing.
Yes.
And I had just spent the last 3 years trying to starve myself into a completely different person so people would love me. And so when it was, I feel like it was almost such a pure act of love when we were just waking up early, going to the beach to watch the sunrise, which is something that's so universal that anybody can do.
Mm-hmm.
Having a song being like, no matter what I did, no matter what, like how little food I ate the previous day, or what the dietitian had just told you, what they said, we would still go on the bike, on the car rides.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that was like my constant.
Yeah.
It was so therapeutic.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. Yeah.
Wow. So
like we've had playlists, not Dave Matthews, but we've had other playlists that we've listened to during different parts of our treatment that I like cannot listen to. I cannot listen to those songs.
Of course. Yes.
But
yes.
It's interesting, like that those.
It was
like
songs of
still.
hope.
It was, I guess.
Because that was
For
the
sure.
first time I feel like I remember talking about this, but it was the first time we're like, oh, maybe she will get out of it. Like maybe she's not gonna. Like maybe she will go to college. Maybe she will do all of these things. Because again, for so long,
I knew that you would eventually.
I didn't know myself. But the whole eventually thing, it felt impossible.
Yeah.
Because again, I already graduated high school.
Yeah.
Couldn't go to college. And lost all my friends in a different state. And it was impossible. And for the first time, it felt like maybe there is something after, you know?
Yes. Yes. No. Oh my gosh. I love that, Mom. Like hearing her say these things out loud. And obviously, this is not your first time to know her feelings, but like when you started picking up on what that was doing for her, what did that do to your mama's heart?
So, what? No, go ahead.
I would say, I did not tell her that I liked these songs at first.
I got you singing them, though.
Okay, yes, I was singing them. The first song that I willingly listened to on my own, that I was avid, that I loved this song, was Shake Me Like a Monkey.
Hell yeah.
The lyrics. I like my coffee with twist and jelly, but I'd rather be
from your back to your belly. I'll think that I'm going to. It's great. It's like a poem to my ears.
So I found it absolutely hilarious.
It's so randomly awesome. I love it.
I would send her like the sweet songs, like ones of hope, and just like, and then that's the one she likes, the raunchy ones.
Yeah,
I
like I don't
mean,
care about Great String or like
you're like straight to shake me like a monkey. But sometimes like I mean, I say that jokingly because of like what I know that song says, but like I think we've all had those moments where we're just like, ugh, like that would just make it feel better is just to shake yourself out of whatever you're thinking in your head. And so there's like this music has just it's so amazing. I mean, like I've had such the honor and privilege to listen to so many people's like stories of hope, of places of despair, of places of where they had to find themselves, where they had to find hope because they didn't have any. And it's amazing how many times like there's a lot of things that go on, just like you've said, going to treatment, doing some therapy, like all of the other things. But like music is also, when it's intertwined and all of that, like it plays such an important role. And it's music has a way to like, just like you said, timestamp our brain so that every time we hear that song, like we automatically relay it to a situation or a time or a smell or a place. And so, that song will always be like those three songs will always be those songs that take you back to this time and the times before. And I hear totally what you're saying about like those songs that you can't listen to because it takes you back to a hard time, because I have those songs. I think we all have those songs. But at the same time, since I'm trying to be optimist instead of pessimist, which has been like a hard road,
It's hard.
it's so hard. But I look at those songs like, here's an opportunity from, yes, I'm going to feel vulnerable, but I'm also going to see that I made it the fuck out of there. Right? Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So it's crazy what music can do. I mean, so how are you doing now? I mean, where you're in Texas? How are things going now? I mean, I know it's one day at a time. It's like one moment at a time sometimes, but like, how are you doing?
I'm actually doing very well because this is the first time that I'm able to say that I don't want to like relapse, which eventually, like, basically boiled down, I don't want to die anymore,
Yeah,
which is a big deal.
it's a
Um,
huge deal.
and actually, in a couple weeks, I'm going to college for environmental studies and biology.
What? Shay, that's so exciting.
I'm so excited.
Like, even though I was in treatment, I worked my ass off in high school, and I was in treatment, but I still got like graduated second in my class.
Oh my God.
So
Oh my God. That's kind of a really big deal too.
yeah, so a lot of scholarships, and so I'm really excited to be able to do that. I have a job working with the Parks and Recreation Department in my town.
Wow.
And
Yeah, she's doing great.
making art, such as
Yes, let's talk about that, because I think that we need to take just a pause right quick and talk about, if, first of all, if you're listening to this on a podcast app, well, thank you so much for listening. But second to that, did you know that there's a whole YouTube channel? So like everything you've ever listened to is available on video form. And this one deserves your attention on YouTube because the ladies here, the lovely ladies here, are wearing self-designed. Well, Shae designed this and then put it on a t-shirt. And so, ladies, show us. You'll have to kind of maybe stand up just a little bit just so you can kind of see the full thing. I think it's important. But guys, look at the t-shirt, and then Shae, like, tell me what it was like that clicked in your brain that you were like, okay, here's what I heard, here's what I see, here's what I'm gonna do. Like, tell us the process.
So I'm just gonna stand up. So, as many people know from the song "Walk Around the Moon," is that what it's called? And I'm like a fake fan. I don't know what it is. Anyway, "Walk Around the Moon." There's one line where he says,
It
"It's
sounds like
blue, it's red. There's a new door inside my head," but he doesn't pronounce it right because I'm pretty sure he was on mushrooms.
Yeah, oh, I think so. I think that, yeah.
There's a noodle inside of my head. So I just thought it was funny that there should be Dave Matthews with noodles.
blue and red.
Yeah.
I think it's such a conversation starter too, right? Like it makes people think about the lyrics and it's funny. And I mean, I love that you were able to like put your thoughts onto a t-shirt like just so beautifully. Like that's a whole art in itself. I know you said that you do a lot of art and that's one of your focuses. And I'm here to say that you're really good at it because that's a unique shirt that I know that people, if they're looking at it, they're going to be like, okay, well, I actually have to have that. Or I'm taking a picture of you guys right now so I can show my friends of like, look at this clever t-shirt. Like it's a talk about shirt.
It is awesome. She did a great job.
We're gonna turn it into stickers too.
Yeah, we'll do stickers.
Oh, 100% need to 100% need to because everyone's going to love it. And I think, you know, it may be one of those story stickers that you have to share the story every time, right? Because at first look, you're like, what? Okay, like is he spaghetti brains? Like is he noodle brain? Like what are we talking about? But then when you tell me, I'm like, well, that was the most stupid guess I've ever had ever about anything. Yes, I see exactly what you're doing now. So it is great and people love stickers. So yeah, I encourage y'all to do that. So like what does the rest of the family think? Like obviously you have more children. What do they think about the Dave Matthews Band?
Like it. They think it's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband tolerates it, but yeah, I mean, it's not.
He's just like me. He dislikes it because he thinks it's funny.
Yes, exactly.
He wants to.
Yeah. I totally get it. I have a 14-year-old daughter who's just like, Mom, please stop. So I get it. Totally get it.
Shae wasn't a total convert, I don't think. Like when we went to the Dallas and the Houston shows, she like this year, she wasn't 100%. Like she was tagging along because she was like ready to go live life again.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The songs, although I had been the whole time she was gone, I had been sending her different songs with the lyrics because I know words. Like she just likes words, and so like because I was preparing her because I'm like, I want you to go to this concert with me.
Yes, and be ready.
So some of them she knew, but like the Houston show, you weren't feeling well for the show, so I was like, oh no, I like was so hopeful that she was gonna love it, and then the Dallas show happened, and like what happened? Like I had gone to the bathroom and early on, and okay,
cut.
No, sorry, I didn't like that.
No, I love that. I love it. Cut.
I just don't know how to easily, gracefully cut it in.
You did it, girl. You did it.
Word, wonderful. Basically, I forgot how to talk. Anyway, we were listening to the concert. She decided that it was one of the boring songs, so she had to go pee. It was a bathroom song.
Sure.
I just didn't.
She had to go to the bathroom. She had to go.
Yeah, and then immediately they started like playing Samurai Cop, which is again our song that was like the OG one that got us into this all.
And so I start running from the bathroom because I knew it's a short song.
Yeah. So I just see her like running down.
Mom is on the way! Like a total Mrs. Doubtfire run.
It was funny because they kept playing, like they played that and then 41 and then
they played Ants Marching, 41, Grace Street, which I loved Grace Street. That's also one of my favorite songs from them is Grace Street because I think it's
so good.
So good.
But I knew that she was like loving it, and so I was telling her this earlier. Have you seen Polar Express, the movie?
Yeah, it's been a while, but yes.
So I don't know if you remember the scene at the end when like, you know, he's not believing the whole time. And then like everyone is excited because Santa comes out and they can hear all the bells and that little boy cannot hear the bell yet. And so he's like, I believe. And all of a sudden he could hear it. And I feel like that was her. It was like that.
Oh yeah.
From like to like sorry.
Yes. I love that description so much because it paints like the perfect picture. I mean, it really kind of does. Like all of a sudden your brain just absorbed it and we went, oh, like the light bulb came on. Like I heard that.
Yeah.
I can relate to that, right? Do you think it was that in some of the lyrics? Like, was it relatable, like the lyrics to you?
100%. Because I mean, from my perspective, Grace
Yeah.
Straight is about a woman living in the monotony of her own life and constantly being in the trap that she's created for herself, and then she kicks out all the windows and sets fire to this life,
Yes.
which I think is, I mean, just for me personally in my personal circumstances, this was a couple of weeks after I left Florida, after I lived there for a year, like without my family.
Yeah.
So it's the first actual thing that I was doing with my family, and it was like the
And everyone was
Yes.
like that
Yes.
energy. Oh, so
Oh, it's so good. Like you can, and that's one of those songs that like you hear so many people just be able to identify with. And so, and I definitely do, but it's so, I don't even know the word. It's so, it just feels really good to be at a concert, and when everyone is singing that together, like you can see like faces with tears, like you can see like people letting go, like you can see people just getting excited that they are not in that circumstance, like you can see it with your eyes, and that's just a whole different level of like what is happening here. Right.
those fire dancers.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Which you have a really great one behind you. I like it. I like
Oh
how
yeah,
it's
it was Nate. You know Nate. He was on your.
Of course I know Nate. Yes, I have one. Yeah. So
Yeah, so he
does
was
yours glow?
no, I think I have one of the OG ones.
Oh yeah,
So
you
this
do.
was like when I went last year was Palm Beach 2023. There was just like a group of us that kind of all random, like none of us knew each other before, but just we were all going by ourselves.
Yeah.
And so we met up and he had a bunch of them he was giving out. It was so sweet. So
He's so awesome. I literally just met him this year, and he was just such a kind guy, and I don't know, he's just been really fun to get to know and watch, on Facebook how we do these things, right? Like we get to know each other on Facebook, but like he always posts like karaoke Thursdays. Like he's so much fun to watch. I love watching him. But that makes me think about the community of the Vans, and so like go back to that time where, whoever told you, I can't remember, but told you about the communities online, and you found the couch tour and you found all this. And then like most people say, when they kind of get into those groups and get into those pages and start looking at that, and even through the couch tour, getting to know people, like what has this community done? Like how does it look in your life once you found it? Like did you think did you even know that this was possible?
no, I had no idea. But I loved it because everyone was like super responsive. Like I can put something like ask a question or put a meme up or whatever, and it's like hundreds of people respond, and it's like all day long, like dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. Like
Yes, it's
so
fun.
yeah, and people just geeking out over the same thing that I
Right.
love so much. And so I don't know, I've loved it so much. And then just the couch tours, and even like when we were at the concert, I would go on like a couch tour to see what other people were thinking that the next song would be.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
it was so fun. I'm like, oh, I love the chat, but like the chat
Yes.
box, and I don't know, I love this, and I love that the band lets people like makes their concerts accessible to people that can't go.
Yeah, because that is a big deal to so many people, is being able to watch that free. Which, if you're listening to this and you're like, "What in the world is the Couch Tour?" It is a group on or page. It's a group. It's a group on Facebook that you can just apply to be in. I think you have to answer a few questions, know maybe a little bit about the Dave Matthews Band. And so anytime there's a concert, the fans that are at the concerts stream it live onto that group. And so you can log in with your phone or whatever, throw it up on your TV and have a live Dave Matthews Band concert in your living room, in your backyard, in your office, in your bathroom, like wherever you want. And it's absolutely for free. And even one step further, the band has now started doing, some free live streams with multi-camera angles. I mean, like this band really does want to give their fans access to their music, and I think it's just so kind of them. And I think that part of me wants to believe that they understand that how important this music is to so many people, and like what the community is to so many people, and it's all because of this band. Which every time I say that, I'm just like, it's true. It's just true, right? Like all of this is because of music and a band and a community of people that are like-minded in one way at least, right? And so I love like how many different kinds of people with every background and everything are in this group, like because there's no set standard of like what a Dave Matthews Band fan looks like, right? Like there is no, people often want to say like, well, I remember back in the 90s it was like this, that, then the other, whatever. Well, okay, but that, let's get for real, that was a long time ago, right? Like times have changed, and so we all look different, and some of us, have a cane now, like times have sped up a little. Like we have back pain, we can't stand up for 14 hours anymore, we sure can't be drinking all day long. Like times have changed, and so the community has changed with time, and so it's a beautiful group of people. For the most part, I've just been really, really, really impressed. Obviously, I started a podcast. I was so impressed with just the continuous cycle of love that seems to just be like in this community and because of this music. So
Even our photographers are Rob, the voice coach, and like all of the people connected.
yeah, it's true.
Like, and then they just like, I don't know. I love that they just like stir up the love for them. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, no, I do too. I do too. And I think they really enjoy it. I mean, let's face it. I don't know anything like personal about any of these dudes, but I don't think they're doing it for money anymore. I
Wow.
think they're doing it because they love to do it. And
Yes.
that's often when like the best stuff is coming out, is when you're just doing it because you absolutely love the people that you're with and you can't imagine doing life any other way. And I think that's what we're seeing right now.
Yes.
Is we're still seeing a band that's very excited about what they're doing, that they understand that they have a platform to teach people in a sneaky way, which is music, right? Like let's talk about Monsters, right? Like I don't know if y'all are familiar with that song. It just came out on the latest album. But again, I haven't had to sit down with the band to really break this part of song apart. But I think a lot of us have, what we've at least gathered from a lot of this music is talking about mental health, because that's a subject that people have for so long not wanted to discuss. It was uncomfortable, and we don't do things that make us feel uncomfortable, but often being uncomfortable and vulnerable is the way to healing, right? We have to get a little uncomfortable to change our ways, and that's really hard. But the band is like sneaking that into their music because they see the importance of how much it needs to be talked about. So I just, I pay attention to what they're doing, because they're not just good at like singing and dancing and playing instruments. They're like really smart too in and using the platform that they have. And so, and that's just bleeding off into thousands of people that are following them and receiving that medicine that they're just pouring out of their souls. And so it's such a beautiful exchange, I think. And I think that your story together is such an example of like just the influence that this music has had on you. I mean, obviously there's a lot of hard work that's been done, and there's a lot of backstory, just like you said. But in your story is the Dave Matthews Band. And so, that's such a beautiful story. And I think that it's encouraging. And I can't thank you enough for just, first of all, being open enough, because when we go through hard things, it's good to hear that other people are going through hard things, because often we feel very, very alone in those times. And so just reminding people that like, you can do this. I did it. Other people have done it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, but you can do it. And so thank you for being willing to share it and being open about the things you've been through, because you've been through it, but you're doing so good. And mama, you've got this. You found yourself. You found your old self. And you can be, you can be all of the things, right? Like, and I'm so glad that you found that part of yourself, because it was a reminder of what you had, and it was a lot of that was really, really good things. And so I'm glad that that's back into your life, and that now you kind of have like this bond that's the Dave Matthews Band, and you'll have it forever. Like even when we go and we talk about the dreaded D-Day of when the Dave Matthews Band retires. Like the music is still here forever. And so when you guys are, 60 and 80 or 60 and 90, whatever the split is between you guys, like even still, those songs are going to just pull you back to these moments right now in 2024. And so I thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yes, thank you for having us on.
Absolutely, guys. Well, before we leave, I'm not going to let you out of doing Dave Matthews Band trivia. I mean, now is the time. Right now, there's never been a better time to really talk about the Dave Matthews Band. Okay, so we do this in a way, kind of like, so I'm going to read you the questions. If you guys happen to know the answer right away, hold on to it for just a minute, because whoever's listening to this or is watching this, I want you guys to play along too. I think that trivia is an opportunity to learn. So if we don't know, hey, we're going to learn something cool about the band, because there's a lot of cool history to dig into and like where these dudes came from to make all this happen. And so if you know the answer, just hold on, and then I'll ask you if you know the answer. If you do, great, and if not, we'll learn something. Well, it'll be awesome either way, right? Okay, here we go, guys. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
No pressure. Okay, so what was the name of the character that Dave Matthews played in the movie Because of Winn-Dixie? Have you seen the movie Because of Winn-Dixie? You may have read it when you were in elementary school, but like, yeah, it's
I like maybe watched it when I was in 5th grade.
for sure. That's usually like the time, 4th, 5th grade. They always read the book and they see the movie, and the kids don't know who Dave Matthews is.
Right? Like he sang the song and everything. I
He
honestly,
does.
I don't know.
That's okay. That's okay. For those of you that don't know, his name was Otis in that, which I just thought was like this cutest little name for him. If you haven't checked out Because of Winn-Dixie, definitely do. Like rewatch it, Shae. Like now that because now you would see it completely different. Like how quirky he was in that movie, and just like how flexible he is. Like again, not only just a singer and a dancer and a guitar player, like he can act and he can do so many things. He's really amazing. He's amazing.
That he was just gonna start touching his toes during the movie. Like, that's what I thought you were talking about.
No, there is. He's in another movie where there is something about toes or something. Yeah, I can't think of what that movie is called. Oh, the pressure. I can't think of what that movie is called. It's funny. He's in a couple different movies. It's awesome. Okay, guys, ready for question number 2?
Yes.
Do I have like the smile on my face, like the Grinch, where I'm like up to something?
Yes.
Like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Okay, here we go, Mom. This might be a question for you, but you about to learn, Shae. Get ready. In what year was The Warehouse, which if you're listening to this and you're not familiar with what The Warehouse is, it is a song by the Dave Matthews Band, but it is also like what the fan club or group is called. It's called The Warehouse. So do you know what year The Warehouse was started? And you can just guess. That's cool. You may already know though.
I think I know. But you want me to wait?
I think we're good. Let's go for it.
Okay.
1872. Yes, you're right, Shae. Ding, 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 ding.
1998.
You got it, Mama. You got it. Yes. 1998. Right at the very end. I think it was December 1998. Were like the first couple of people that got to get in. And of course, and then it rolled into January in 1999, and of course a lot more people got into it, but those people that signed up that are still members from that original time in 1998, 1999, like they get really cool swag. They keep up with their people, with their fans that are have been loyal to the Warehouse, and they send them some pretty cool swag. So, and I think the Warehouse is such a great thing. A lot of people would not agree with me, and that's cool, but like I like to support whatever I can when it comes to the Dave Matthews Band. And
Yeah,
believe me,
like
I've spent $30 at Taco Bell, so I can give the warehouse $30 a year or so. It's just, it's what I'm doing. Okay, guys, I'm going to give you some song lyrics, and I promise not to go hard on you, but I'm going to give you a few song lyrics, and I want you to tell me if you know what song it is from, okay?
okay.
All right, here we go. I will go in this way and find my own way out.
I know. Do you know? I know this one. Well, do we have to pause?
I'm going to read it one more time for those of you that may be listening and that are like, what did she just say? It's very hard not to sing this.
Yes.
I will go in this way and find my own way out. Guys, any thoughts on what that could be?
Do you want to say it?
Okay, well, she just like signaled it to me underneath the table. So I'm gonna assume 41.
It is. It's number 41. Yes, you got it. You knew it. I knew. I could see your face like when I started to read it. You were like, I know what it is.
No, I knew what it was, but like I was talking to myself. Yeah, again, to be honest, like a lot of Dave's songs. No, I love them. I think that they're so fun. But like I recognize like the and like the
Yeah, that was perfect.
has the words. You know, a song. Right.
It is true. There's a lot of hidden stuff in those lyrics. Okay, here's question number 3. Which Dave Matthews Band album features the Fire Dancer as its cover art?
Oh.
We can all see it in our head because there's just one, right, that has the Fire Dancer on it. Do you remember what the name of that album was?
It's not Sun Devil. It's not Whiskey, whatever.
I feel like it's one that I wasn't part of, but then I feel like it's a newer song. I mean, an older song. Because it's silver.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, you got it. You can see it in your head. I can tell. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know the name of it, though.
I want to sing it so bad. Stand up.
Oh.
Stand up. Stand up. That's the name of it. It's Stand Up, but there's a song called Stand Up, and that's how it goes. I'm not being weird. Yeah, Stand Up. It's a Stand Up album. Yeah. So I don't know. Here's how I remember that, and like here's the weird way to remember it. Like the Fire Dancer is standing up, so like that's how I remember it's the Stand Up album, is because the Fire Dancer is standing up. But
Yes.
I don't know if that's going to help anybody, or if you're ever going to need that knowledge. But there you go, guys. You can pass the test. So weird. Okay, guys, let's do one more trivia question. Let's see. Okay. I love this song. I love this question. Are you ready?
Yes.
What song contains the lyrics, I've got a bobblehead Jesus?
Oh. I don't know. I bet I know the song, but sometimes I don't know the words.
I bet you do. It is a song called Joyride. Have you ever heard of that one? No? Okay. Oh, I have so much homework to give you. As soon as we stop this podcast, I want you to go listen to the Stand Up album. Get familiar with it. And then you have to listen to Joyride. Like, I literally love that song so much. But here's me getting very specific. I'll send you one, but listen to a live version of it, because this song has a lot of crowd participation in it.
Okay.
There's some moments where the crowd is almost kind of expected to do something, and so you're going to love it. It's so much fun. He doesn't really sing it as often as I'd like, but when he does, it's such a party. So Definitely, it's Joyride. I don't think. Here's me just guessing, but I don't think Joyride has ever been on an actual studio album. I think it's just live recorded. So it's not one of those songs that if you just listen to radio, or if you just listen to, just the albums, Shae, here's your homework. Dig into the live tracks. That's where you're going to hear the stuff. That's where you're going to get that exactly what they want to give you, because I feel like there are some constraints in a studio album. Just there has to be, right? Because there's that endless amount of times and money and all of those things. And so it's very, very pulled back and constrained. So definitely dig into those. Look at me giving y'all homework like I'm the Dave Matthews Band teacher. Like,
No, but
here you
she's
go,
good
students.
though. I'll go into the kitchen and I'm like, oh, what song are you willingly listening to? But like she's getting it. I don't know. I just love it.
Oh yeah. No, I love it. I can't even imagine what it would be like to go into a room and have my kids just like listening to the Dave Matthews Band and liking it.
Yeah.
That's a great feeling. I'm sure it's a great feeling.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
Now we just
Sorry.
No, I was just saying now we just got to get your husband into it, right?
Yes.
Yes. But I used to be like, why does everyone want to listen to this like old man sex life? And like, is it
I know. My daughter says that too. She calls it mom and dad music because like from her perspective, I mean, my kids are 14, 19, and 22. From their perspective, he is an old man. He's 56. They think I'm an old woman. They think a 56-year-old man is an old man talking about having sex. That's not cool to them. That's not cool. But hey, everybody does it, right? Everybody does it. So you just got to get used to it.
No, I was just like, for so long, I'm like, he is an old dirt dog. What is he talking about? Looking at someone from their back to their belly. That's
Well,
probably correct.
Right.
Yeah, he's just talking about things he likes to do. I mean, we all like to do different things.
But now Rapunzel's one of my favorite songs. So
Oh my God, there's so many good things. And I mean, obviously, I think that not every age is all Dave Matthews Band songs appropriate. Like, they're just not. But they're good to me and they're good to y'all. So that's good enough for me. Well, guys, I cannot thank you again enough for coming on the show, for just being vulnerable in front of a lot of people that you don't know, in front of me. Of course, I've never heard your story, but thank you so much from the bottom of my heart just for sharing that. And I'm so glad that you guys are still on your journey with the Dave Matthews Band. I've given you some homework, so it's time to learn, ladies. We got so much information because you got to study up because, again, this band is being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this October. So, and that's going to be live televised, so everybody's gonna be watching in and cheering for our favorite team, as I call them, right? Like, this is the Super Bowl. We won the trophy, right? Like, that's what I keep.
Sports.
I mean, they're my sports team. Like, I live in Arkansas, so we don't have professional sports here. I mean, like, the closest is Kansas City, but we have the Razorbacks, which is college football, but they're honestly not that good for most of the time. So, dude, all I got is the Dave Matthews Band.
I love it. I love it.
Well, guys, if you're listening to this on a podcast app, I encourage you, please, just check out the YouTube channel, give us a like and subscribe. All those things that your kids are going to tell you important, because they are important when it comes to a YouTube channel, just so that you're notified when the next episode comes out. But then also I throw up some fun reels from time to time. If you want to check out my TikTok channel, it's The Space Between Podcast. And then also on Instagram at The Space Between _POD. And Facebook, I just got a page. So it's like an actual thing that people can find. I used to be a group. I'm still a group, but now be sure to check out the Space Between Podcast page on Facebook. And that way you can keep up, because the Space Between Podcast is on the road for like the rest of the year to talk with fans all over the United States about the Dave Matthews Band. Somehow I'm fitting this all in while working full-time as a nurse and having 4 kids, y'all. I'm just like doing it because we're not promised tomorrow, guys. I'm doing it because I don't know when this band is going to be done. And I'm doing it because I'm investing in myself, guys. I'm that mama's heart, right? Like, our kids move off, and then like, what do we do with this time? Well, right now I'm going to spend some time making me happy, because I spent a lot of time investing in a lot of other people. So right now I'm going to be a little bit selfish, and that's okay, right? That's okay. Yes. But anyways, yes. So guys, until the next time, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.
Bye. Thank you.
Space between